of view too far, need to zoom in. Ain't got no facts, you assuming. About to call them blue, the way you be cluing. Stay awake, not woke, I'm tuned in. Your point of view too far, need to zoom in. Ain't got no facts, you assuming. About to call them blue, the way you be cluing. Have we had enough of your lies for one night? Have we felt enough of our pain to know it's real? How do you feel? Sick and tired of the lies, all I'm feeling is the pain. It's the devil in disguise while I'm standing in the rain, water pouring from the sky. But you tell me the opposite, like I don't have a consciousness, like I'm stuck in the matrix and my brain's up for the taking. But we don't do that, I know my facts. They say that he was elected, but where the stats at? They say that jab the only way to get your life back. But if you have a heart attack, then they will go to hide that. Look at the FDA, acting like KKK, trying to run all our lives like we they brand new slaves. Lose the job, banned from playing segregation, all the same. They call themselves progressives, but they taking us all back again. Bring the world to darkness and sacrifice the children. Then when it's said and done, then you will never live with hope again. I say that we break the chains, we can't leave the world the same. Make love real again. As we fly above the truth, I ask of God, am I with you? I walk the path, go to the light, but still I feel that. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages from all across the world. You are now tuned into your favorite twice-weekly source for news, entertainment, politics, the Chandler Brief, where the dress code is, of course, business casual. How is everybody doing in the chat today? Shout out to It's Australia Day every day. He says, hey, ladies and gentlemen, girls, boys, and those that can't make up their minds. It's 4 a.m. in Perth. Woof. Well, good morning to you, Mr. Australia Day. I love hearing these wacky Australian time zones are always so cool. What's going on, Susie Watkins? Everybody watching us over on alt tech platforms, Gitter and Rumble. I really appreciate y'all. Shout out to all y'all over there. We've got a great show for you guys tonight, or I should say this afternoon, that you are not going to want to miss out on. But very first, before we get started, I do want to say, hey, how you doing? Thank you. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. If you're watching on either of my two YouTube channels, make sure you subscribe as well for more content coming very soon like this. And today is June 20th, 2022, which means yesterday was June 19th, 2022, naturally, unless you're of the opinion that you can change reality and one day you're a boy, next day you're a girl. So maybe yesterday was June 18th after all. But either way, in reality, like real reality, yesterday was June 19th, which is a very special holiday that our great friend here of the channel, McFist, Thickrist, it's both names, has been talking about. A very confusing day for many, as it was Juneteenth and Father's Day. And I mentioned Juneteenth first because it's way more funny to talk about Juneteenth, and we're going to be talking about that today. Not so much in the funny way, but more like the tragedy way, but it is kind of a thing to bring up. But it was also Father's Day, so to all the fathers out there, I hope you got some great messages from your children, from the people important to you in your life. I know I definitely passed along some great messages myself, so very great times. I hope everybody was celebrated, and if you weren't, well, I am very sorry, but I will gladly wish you a happy Father's Day, even if it's a little belated, because fathers are one of the most important facets of society, especially our society. Corey Chambers says, I was black for a day yesterday. All right, Corey, I need to move on before you get me indirectly banned. Today, we're talking about something a little different that I don't believe happened on Father's Day, but it was a big thing over the weekend that I'm sure many fathers, as they gathered their children around them, got a great laugh of. And that was about Joe Biden falling off his bike. Now, today, he says he's feeling great after falling off his bike at the beach, but we all know if you take a fall like that,
rub my leg down. I got hairy legs.
It's not going to feel good. Let's jump into this. President Biden said Monday that he's feeling great after falling off his bike near his Delaware vacation home. The president, who turns 80 in November, toppled off his two-wheeler Saturday near a group of reporters who swooped in for a shot of the commander-in-chief on the ground. Shout out to the New York Post. You can't write that any more eloquently than that. The commander-in-chief on the ground. I'm feeling great, Biden told reporters while taking a walk on the beach with his family members. Biden blamed the embarrassing dismount on his bike's pedals as he leaned in to whisper to the press that, I fell in case you didn't notice. I was fine. The bike fall produced more negative coverage for Biden as he struggles to show he's got a grasp on the highest inflation since '81 and record high gas prices, which we will talk about a little bit later on in the show again. As we talked about last week, the national gas average is soon going to be reaching a cratering has already reached a cratering $5 a gallon national average. That's just
And you ain't black.
That's just where we are right now. What happened was, do any of you guys ride bikes? Biden said Monday. Well, they have some of them things. Some of them have this thing you put your toe in that restrains your foot so it doesn't slide off the pedal. Well, I was getting off the bike. It got stuck on the right side. And that's why he fell. And there is the very limber, very young Joe Biden, obviously. Corey Chambers says Biden identifies as able-bodied. Corey Chambers is really trying to give thick-wrist McFist a run for his money. I think he really is, for funniest member of the show. And Zora Brown says, hi, Chandler. I haven't seen the footage yet. Zora, it's so nice to see you. I haven't seen you around here in so long. Really nice to see you again. I'll give you the footage then. I'll give you the footage. Not calling you out, Zora. I'm just saying I haven't seen your name in a little bit. I've missed you. But you know what? Just for you, Zora, in honor of your grand return to the Chandler Reef, I'm going to pull up that footage for you. Biden falls off bike. I've got it just for you right here, too. Just for you. Just for you, Zora. Woo! Oh, look at Jill. Isn't that so cute? Go, Joe. Rub my leg down. Oh.
Hey now.
Oh gosh. Y'all.
Stop the cap.
Now, I'm not an 79-year-old man who's been in politics since the Stone Age like Joe Biden is, but I have ridden a bike a good amount of times. And I can tell you, I've ridden a bike very scarily, one of those bikes that holds your foot in place. It's a very scary thing. I agree with Biden there. The thing is, that usually is when you're making a moving stop or something, and you're trying to, you forget you have the thing there, you try to pull your leg off, and whoop, you go flying. He was completely still, and he had what appears to be at least a leg on the ground. Yeah, so he's got one leg on the ground, and you can see this bozo standing in the way, but, yeah.
Hey now.
You are completely stationary, you aren't moving, you aren't dealing with anything, and just... Susie Watkins says he needs a trike. Y'all are trying to kill me. I'm trying to keep the show very professional, to the point, and y'all are like, he needs a trike. I pretended to be black the other day. He identifies as able-bodied. How am I supposed to keep up? Susie says, good thing he had a helmet on. Oh yeah, at least that. But yep, one more time, just for posterity.
Hey now.
And there he goes. Down goes the commander-in-chief. Look at this guy casually moving the murder weapon off to the side, just like, oh yeah, let me grab this, put this away. Oh man. Yep, there he goes. And immediately he crouches down to talk to the little girl. Are you serious? No, this isn't a joke. He crouches down to talk to the little girl.
Rub my leg down.
I think we've got like a little bit of insight. If you guys listen closely, you can hear. Let me just, rewind this.
Rub my leg down.
Did you guys hear that? Joe strikes again. The commander-in-chief. I don't know. I don't know. How does he get away with this? Biden is the oldest ever U.S. president and has on at least 3 occasions stumbled while walking up the steps of Air Force One. His detractors often claim he is in mental decline. Shortly after, quote-unquote, winning the 2020 election, Biden fractured his right foot, and the then-president-elect said that he tugged his dog Major's tail after a shower and tripped on a rug. The first family gave up that dog last year after it repeatedly attacked Secret Service agents.
And you ain't black.
Billions.
The reign of terror just doesn't end. Of the Biden White House, everybody's getting hurt, everybody's damaged, everybody's getting sent away, and we consider this a real presidency? A real president? I don't know. Zora says, isn't there a stationary bike at the White House? I don't even know. Probably a Peloton or something, knowing just how the Biden admin works. Zora says, he's falling like the economy. Yes, he's falling like these gas prices, at least he wishes they were. But we've got another subject to sort of shift gears onto that shifts the focus back onto Juneteenth. Now, a tragedy has befallen the black community during Juneteenth. Now, this isn't supposed to be a joke, but it will come off a little ironic and funny, especially to certain thick-wristed members of our community. At the Mochella Black Music Festival yesterday in D.C. to celebrate #Juneteenth, A mass shooting broke out that resulted in a cop being shot, a teen being killed, and 2 others injured. No suspect has been arrested yet. Yes, at a music festival.
There you go. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on to you, bro. You good. You good. You good. You good.
Can't hear anything yet.
I saw the tree and I thought the same shit.
You know we ain't out putting each other personal space.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, so I'm not hearing any gunfire, but you can see the people clamoring, and then here's another shot. Video recorded after the shooting at the Mochella Black Music Festival to celebrate Juneteenth. Attendees shut down the road and twerked on vehicles they had surrounded. The event was advertised as a peaceful demonstration, so it wasn't even a music festival, it was just like a protest. Well, that's Washington, D.C. for you folks. Just know, this is how we do it. Mochella, Juneteenth in 2022. New impressions, yadidia. So there were actual performances, it would appear. And then there's a picture of the Capitol fractured because, right? Insurrectionists, am I right? Am I right? I don't know, Australia Day every day says, Chandler, what's the difference between a woman and nuclear physics? Well, I am no biologist nor nuclear physicist, so clearly I can't answer such questions.
Nope.
I just can't. No, but seriously, this is what's happening. So let's read a little bit more about it to see what we can learn and see if we can maybe give them the benefit of the doubt. Susie Watkins says, what the heck is wrong with people? I don't know. Boy 15 is killed and 3 others, including a cop, are injured by a shooting at an unauthorized Juneteenth music festival. Revelers were seen twerking atop truck, then fleeing as gunfire rang out. A 15-year-old lost his life, and 3 other people, including a cop, were wounded after shots rang out at a social justice-themed event in D.C. A total of 4 people, including the deceased, and 2 adult partygoers, as well as a cop, were shot Sunday evening near the intersection of 14th and U Street, where the Mochella Music Festival, a Juneteenth celebration, was underway. Witnesses described how the teenager was screaming for his mom after being shot. The officer was taken to an area hospital and is in stable condition, police confirmed. The other 2 victims are also recovering. Video shared on Twitter showed revelers on top of cars as shots rang out, forcing people to flee for cover. Other footage shows first responders rendering aid at the scene while a large crowd dispersed from the area. Police are still looking for the gunman. As you can see, these are the priorities of the Juneteenth celebrators. It is not about heritage. It is not about freedom. It is about depravity. And sadly, it appears to be being parlayed into violence. Deadly violence. People losing their lives. People losing blood, getting shot. It's a terrible situation. And this is what we're promoting. So you wonder why so many people, including within the Black community, are like, listen, I'm great. I'm happy that this is what our ancestors were able to be freed from. I think it's a good idea. But in 2022, Juneteenth is not a necessity. It is corporate garbage. It is only becoming a major thing now because of the Black Lives Matter riots that happened a couple years back. And suddenly, well, let's see, they're happening. They started happening in May. So when June comes around, why don't we make it a big slave thing? Because obviously, Black equals slave, and it's a whole new thing that we can sell people to, because during June we're already selling to them dang gays with Pride Month. Why don't we find out something to sell to the Black community too, huh? Says Walmart, and I don't know, Exxon, or various other random companies that, the gas is gay. Was it No, it was Chevron. Sorry, Exxon. It was Chevron that did the whole gas is gay thing, or celebrating identities. It's clear to see where our culture is right now and why so many people are really dang concerned. Really, really dang concerned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We've got a few messages to jump into, and then we'll be right back with the show. Don't go far. We'll be right back. Hey, freethinkers. Chandler here, and man, covering the news of the day, reading your comments, and containing my laughter sure are tiring, right? I'm sure your day-to-day life leaves you just as, if not more tired than me. So why not elevate your night's sleep, all while supporting a great patriot? Of course, you knew it was coming. It was too good to pass up. My Pillow is your ultimate night's sleep. Pillows, blankets, sheets, mattresses, mattress toppers, pajamas, loungewear. As you can hear by me droning on in the background, the list of My Pillow products is long and varied, and sometimes, dare I say, ridiculous. But it all goes towards an amazing cause, all the while giving you the best night's sleep in the whole wide world. Mike Lindell is an amazing patriot and a man I've met a few times myself. I can tell you, he's just as real in person as he is online. He has an inspiring story of recovering from addiction and is a true warrior. You could tell just by how hard the media comes after him. The best way to stand by Mike Lindell, stand by the patriots who have been canceled, and to stand by your wife or husband who would love to wake up in the morning to a non-cranky mess, go to mypillow.com and use code CRUMP, that is code CRUMP, for your very own discount today. Now, let's get back to the show. I guarantee you, My Pillow products will change your life and will make you happier during the day with the best night's sleep in the whole wide world. Get your very own today, mypillow.com, code CRUMP, that is code CRUMP. Corey Chambers says, I love my My Pillow sheets. Yes, and also great news from Roxanne, or not, I shouldn't say great news, but great thing to cover. Mike Lindell actually recently got kicked out of Walmart. Like, not Mike Lindell getting kicked out, but My Pillow, I should say, was kicked out of Walmart. Canceled by yet another retailer. Can you believe that? I might have to put something together about that, but that's just insane to see how hard they're going to come down on each and every person involved in this movement. It's really crazy. We've got so much more to jump into, so let's get started. Before we do that, Corey Chambers says DC is a failed city of socialism, lawlessness, and danger. Yeah, every time I've been up to DC, it has been worrisome, to say the least. I don't want to get too far into it, but it's a crazy place right down there. But anyways, I guess now that we're kind of on the subject of DC and maybe Washington, although this is a really weird segue, the Washington Post. Yes, I did that. Washington Post has a very great journalist working for them in Taylor Lorenz, who was recently involved in a bout with another, quote unquote journalist who is the founder of Vox, Matt Igazalias, who joked about his diagnosis of COVID-19, and Taylor Lorenz had to really enter herself into the oppression Olympics and be like, you can't make that joke, how dare you? So let's check in and see what this is all about, shall we? Liberal commentator and Vox co-founder Matthew Igazalias appeared to use humor to soften the blow of his COVID-19 diagnosis, which appeared to upset Washington Post reporter Taylor Lorenz. Some personal news. I have Oof, I'm really making this story sound real. Contracted the novel coronavirus, Igazalias declared in a Father's Day tweet. Frankly, I think the virus should respect Father's Day more than this. He then went on to quip that, FYI, all future typos are due to long COVID. Lorenz responded to Igazalias' tweet by scolding him for his privilege. I'm glad it's a joke for you, Matt, and that you're lucky enough to get access to great care. But for those who have had their lives destroyed by the virus, I've had loved ones die or suffer from long COVID, it's not funny. Hope you can have a little more empathy, especially today, she tweeted. And there's very young Taylor Lorenz. In fact, she's younger than I am, clearly. If in case you couldn't tell, she was born in 2007. She's very young, very young. Heroes of Liberty editor and conservative commentator Bethany Mandel appeared to lampoon Lorenz's statement. The humorlessness is a symptom of old age, not long COVID, Mandel quipped. Oh my gosh. Lorenz has been no stranger to controversy. Shortly after joining the Post, she infamously revealed the identity and address of Libs of TikTok Twitter account, an account famous for highlighting TikTok videos from liberals. Prior to her doxing LOT, Lorenz publicly limited how she had herself faced harassment online. More recently, Lorenz faced criticism when her piece about the content creators who benefited from the exploitive Johnny Depp Heard trial contained multiple errors. In her original report, Lorenz noted how two YouTubers allegedly profited from their coverage of the trial and didn't respond for comment. However, the YouTubers called out Lorenz, saying she did not reach out to them for comment in the first place. The fallout from the incident led Lorenz from being moved from the feature staff to the technology team, and reportedly a managing editor has to review her articles before publication, which I'm surprised wasn't already a thing, but this is just bad. And actually, to topple onto that, she actually blamed one of her editors for the blunder in her article. Just shows you where these people stand, huh? Lorenz's calling out of Igazalias follows another incident where recently fired Washington Post reporter Felicia Sonmez started a firestorm of controversy by condemning a fellow reporter for retweeting a joke. The firestorm consumed the Post's newsroom for over a week, with Sonmez publicly calling out management and colleagues for creating an unfriendly work environment. As you can see, this stuff is getting crazy. This stuff is getting crazy. Rebecca Guest says Washington compost. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a very good one. Washington compost. I mean, honestly, with the stuff that's happening over there, can you believe it? Compost. We could sure use compost, I'm sure. I wish we could run our cars off of compost, if I'm being honest. Everybody's really concerned about all this mess, and honestly, if we could run our cars off of compost, we didn't have to worry about these gas prices, but we are worrying about these gas prices, and it seems so is Biden. Not that he can't afford it or that he cares about the American plight, but that he cares about whether he can spend something to get a little bit better performance come midterm season, as it is coming very soon, and we're going to be talking about that and some very new primaries coming in just a minute. But before we touch on that, I do want to touch on what Biden is up to. And when I say touch Biden, I don't mean
Rub my leg down.
I promise. I mean, it's serious. Biden says he is considering a gas tax holiday as his admin targets a July 4th announcement. Yes, because July 4th is the perfect time to talk about saving 16 cents at the store for your hot dogs, or 18 cents at the pump in comparison to the, I don't know, $2 or more increase you're having to spend since the inauguration of Biden. President Joe Biden said Monday that he is seriously considering temporarily halting the federal gas tax as the White House looks to take steps to lower the cost at the pump ahead of the July 4th holiday. White House officials say that July 4th weekend, when tens of millions of people are expected to hit the road, is a target for announcing new measures to help lower record high gas prices. Biden said Monday that he could make a decision on pausing the federal gas tax by the end of the week. I hope I have a decision based on data, he told reporters traveling with him to Rehoboth, Delaware. A gas tax holiday will require congressional action, and one White House official acknowledged it would be challenging. Republicans don't want gas prices to come down. They want Biden to suffer. Do they realize, and when I talk about they, I don't mean the Republicans, because this is obviously a smear. Does this Biden staffer realize that Republicans don't care about making Biden suffer? They care about their own constituents suffering? Because I think the person who's making this up fails to realize that Republican voters are blue-collar Americans. So much more than your average neoliberal Californian who already owns a Tesla because daddy started some company way back in the day and that inheritance money came in handy after they condemned him and called their dad a white supremacist or something. They've got their Tesla, they've got their Prius, they're all set. They don't need to worry as much about gas prices, at least not directly. But they really do eventually, but they don't really need to realize that. Republicans, however, their constituents are your average blue-collar Americans commuting to and from work and home who have to fill up their car once or twice a week, and they have to deal with that. Republicans care about the gas prices just as much, if not more, than Biden does. Actually, I shouldn't even say just as much, way more than Biden does. And they don't care about making Biden suffer. They care about their own behinds. And I'm not saying that Republicans care more about their constituents. They care about getting voted in just as much as Biden does, but they're gonna have to care. They don't care about making Biden suffer. They care about making this country better so that people want to vote for them. And they're doing the best they can. And if that means campaigning against Biden and really attributing it to him, as they should, then that's what's going to happen. The official pointed to a comment made by Senator Rick Scott in November that rising gas prices and inflation are a goldmine for us, because electorally speaking, it is. Other possible steps the administration is considering include a gas rebate, though one White House official dismissed the idea as a stretch and said it is not in serious contention, while a gas tax holiday appears to be getting more serious attention. The effort to announce new measures comes ahead of a meeting. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm plans to meet with oil refining executives, which a source familiar with the plan said is scheduled for Thursday. The meeting comes amid growing tensions between the White House and the oil industry. Granholm noted on CNN on Sunday that if the administration moved forward on a federal gas tax pause, some federal funds could stop going toward roadway projects as part of the infrastructure law Biden signed last year.
Billions.
Oh man, that sure does hurt to destroy the economy, doesn't it? That big infrastructure bill where you said, childcare is infrastructure. Voting for me is infrastructure. Everything is infrastructure. Well, all of a sudden, we don't got the money to pay for infrastructure anymore. Everybody's got to pay for gas. Police departments can't afford to defend their citizens, even though they want to take away all the guns of the citizens and only have police officers because ACAB, right? Am I right? But anyways, the police officers can't serve their communities because gas is too dang high. They've already paid their entire budgets. And you expect us to be able to do something about the roads, about the bridges, about the tunnels, about the broadband, when inflation is at an all-time high?
Stop the cap.
I don't know. It's
'Cause I'm stupid.
It's bad. Joker Ace says, yeah, gotta love the coattail riders who have nearly no clue about the real world. Susie Watkins says, so glad I'm in Florida. Maurice Delk is in the building. He says, what up? Nice to see you, Maurice. Yeah, we're back streaming on this channel here. I'm very happy to see you again. It's been a good long while. Shout out to my folks over on Getter as well. Sandy says, November tsunami coming. Yeah, I like that. Sandy says, where? From our strategic oil reserves? Yeah. We've already basically emptied out our strategic oil reserves because we dang it have to. We've got all this terrible situation happening right now all across America, and it's just getting worse. Meanwhile, a major thing that is happening within the Biden administration that not many people have been talking about because we've been so busy thinking about the gas prices or inflation is our situation with illegal immigration. Because as things get even worse, we begin to afford less and less. We're sending all the money and the baby formula and the gas down to the border because Border Patrol can't stop doing their job. They have to take care of the people they detain because we're just letting them walk into the country. Jorge Ventura is at the Mexican-American border, and he is reporting live as this stuff funnels through just this morning. He says, around 6 a.m., which is, I believe, talking about yesterday, groups of migrants continue crossing illegally into Yuma as Border Patrol agents are still processing migrants that crossed earlier in the night. Majority of migrants are encountered today are Cubans. I also noticed many single males from India. Let's check this out, shall we?
It's 6 in the morning here in Yuma, and we're still seeing migrants coming. India?
Yeah.
India? So here's a group of Indian men coming in. Today we're actually running into the majority from Cuba, and we've been interviewing the Cuban migrants to see kind of their journey in the process. And one thing the Cuban migrants are telling me, which we find interesting, is they actually have to fly into Nicaragua, and then from Nicaragua they travel up to Mexico. From Cuba they cannot directly fly into Mexico because they need a visa, which they say it's really difficult to get issued in Cuba. India?
Yeah.
India?
Yeah.
There's a group of Indian men.
Yeah, you can see it.
Cuba, cubano. Hey, señor. Hey, tú.
I just like, they're like soccer teams, you know? They're like entering the field like, yeah, India, yeah, Cuba, Cubano, Dominicano. I don't know.
Tú tomaste un avión a Nicaragua primero, ¿verdad?
I first take a plane to Nicaragua and go while walking to here.
Oh, so
Yeah,
there you go. And so
what he said.
the Cubans go to Nicaragua, and from Nicaragua they travel here. Oh, hola, de Nicaragua, Cuba?
Cubanos.
Cuba. It's 6 in
Yeah, so you can see Jorge, communicating with the folks as they're coming on in. Somebody said, cool, good for them, heartwarming. I mean, it's nice to see people so happy, people feeling like they're getting out of a bad situation, but you're not coming to a much better one, if I'm being honest with the way things are here. And I wish we could have a better way. I don't know, groups of migrants continue crossing illegally into Yuma as Border Patrol agents are still processing a previous group. And it's only going to get worse as we get closer and closer to doing absolutely nothing. But people are getting sick and tired. People like you, people who are watching. Australia Day says, electricity is going through the roof because they are selling our gas LPG to overseas. Yes, so Rebecca says, so many Cubans coming here, yet none of our socialists want to move to Cuba. There you go. The situation is dire here. It's truly, it's getting bad. And so that's why so many people are really excited for the upcoming midterms. But what do you have to do before midterms? Well, you have to have primaries. And just tomorrow, we're going to have some very major primaries here in Virginia, Alabama, and my home state of Georgia. We're very excited to see what's going to happen, and I wanted to give a brief highlight to some of the candidates that are going into this in some states and races to watch. As you can see here, this image represents the Alabama Senate runoff between Mo Brooks and Katie Britt. Katie Britt is endorsed by Trump. Mo Brooks was previously endorsed by Trump and had the endorsement revoked. So it is a very hairy situation there. I don't know. I haven't been paying too much attention to that, but I know we have some Alabamans here in the chat. Let me know in the chat who y'all are backing. You, your team Brooks or your team Britt? That's interesting. Let me know. Rebecca. Oh, you're funny. Let's check in though, because we need to. I'm sorry. I'm chuckling because Rebecca says, Chandler, will you vote for Big Stacy? I got one.
Nope.
Am I voting against her?
Yep.
Am I excited to vote for Kemp?
Nope.
Is it better than Stacy?
Yep.
There you go. But let's check into what is happening in Georgia and some of the other states. So obviously this is an article, but I want to just kind of give you a rundown. So this image is Georgia 10, Mike Collins versus Vernon Jones. Vernon Jones is endorsed by President Trump. Mike Collins is not. There have been a lot of, this is a messy race right here between these two candidates, and I don't even know if I want to get into it. It's been crazy, but it's been big. So the states and races to watch in Georgia, I should say, are the 2nd congressional district, which is a Democrat district, but is very more competitive now. The 6th, which is between Jake Evans and Rich McCormick. Jake endorsed by Trump, Rich McCormick not, and an identical situation in the 10th. Now, this comes after we had primaries just last month at the end of May, and we, obviously very crowded fields. None of the candidates for the Republican position within these districts reached over 50%, and in Georgia, if you don't hit 50%, you've got to wait until like a month later and do a runoff. And that runoff decides who gets it, even if it's 51-49. And that can happen. That has happened. So very great stuff. Tomorrow at 7 is when the polls close and the numbers are going to start coming in. As you can see here, if you've been taking a quick gander at the article, Mike Collins received 26 to Vernon Jones at a close 22. It is anybody's guess as to what is going to happen tomorrow, though. Early voting has already concluded here in Georgia. I'm sure all that cool stuff is happening, mail-in votes, all that great stuff, honestly. But tomorrow is going to be the day that it is decided in GA10, and it's going to be a real nail-biter because what is happening right now is it's a matchup between Mike Collins and Vernon Jones, but it's more of a proxy war, and I think that's even mentioned in the article here. But that's because Mike Collins, who parades himself as America First, has actually been endorsed by Brian Kemp, who was, despite, winning very heavily, is a very unpopular gubernatorial candidate here in Georgia. And a lot of people say, well, I vote for Kemp because I don't think I don't believe Perdue had what it takes to beat Stacey, and they think Kemp's done it once, he can do it again, which is, very solid logic rationale. I agree with it. But Kemp has endorsed Mike Collins, which is interesting in my opinion. But Vernon being endorsed by Trump really shows you how this works. It's sort of the Georgia establishment versus real MAGA in Georgia. Now, like I said, I'm trying not to take positions here. Obviously, I'm kind of more partial to the Trump-based side of it, but obviously, it's either or. And they're both going to be great candidates in Congress, I'm sure of it. We'll have to see how they actually serve. But either one is a good choice, I'm sure of it. But you guys know who's endorsed by who. But moving on to GA6, which is even more competitive between Rich McCormick and Jake Evans. Jake Evans is endorsed by Trump, but Rich McCormick has a whole lot more money in his pocket because he's gotten some great donations from large groups. So that's going to be interesting to see. We'll have to see if Rich McCormick pulls off a Kemp endorsement or something, probably before the end of things tomorrow, although it's probably too late for that. But it'd be interesting to see what happens. McCormick does not have any major endorsements from former governors or anything like that, as far as I know. But we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. But moving on to Virginia, there is some minor congressional districts happening. There haven't been much talk about those, obviously, so I don't need to get too far into them, but those are some districts that are going to be very interesting to see. If any of my Virginia folk are offended that I don't want to spend too much time talking about the state, I'm sorry. But, hey, what's his name? Youngkin's very interesting, yeah. Words up for Youngkin. And then last but not least, of course, Alabama. Just a brief look over again. The U.S. Senate race there between Katie Britt and Mo Brooks is going to be mucho interesting. Very interesting. So we're going to be live reacting to all of that as polls close tomorrow at 8 in Georgia and in Alabama. You guys aren't going to want to miss it. So tune in here tomorrow at 8 Eastern for all that and more for our edition of Crump Live. Thank you guys so much to everybody who's tuned in with us. Australia Day Every Day is baby formula. And yeah, the world is going crazy. Thank you guys so much to all my folks over on Rumble and Gitter. I really appreciate all y'all. Joker Ace, my folks over on Gitter. We had a great audience over on Gitter, so shout out to all y'all. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8, so don't miss out. And aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread their eyes of intelligence. Peace.
Into the light.